Okay, welcome everybody back to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo. We're back for Week 10 picks. Also, we're going to recap this Thursday night game. Another absolute wild, incredible game between the Ravens and Bengals. If we remember that last matchup, the Bengals tried everything they could do to get the win. Couldn't do it. Same thing again tonight. Burrow has a huge game. Chase has 3 touchdowns. The Ravens secondary is just not it, but Lamar gets it done and they get the W. So another great game. We'll recap that real quick. We have week 10 picks and we're starting to heat up with the picks. Last 2 weeks, week 8, we were 8-3. And then last week we were 7-4. So our record for the year now is 41, 42, and 1, still under 50%. We want to get over 52.5 to start cashing. Last year we were 54.5%, 87-4, 74 and 2. Week 2, we didn't pick week 1 because still doing my fantasy drafts. Week 2, 3, 5, and 1. Week 3, 5 and 3. So we're 8, 8 and 1. Week 4, 2 and 6, 10, 14 and 1. Week 5, 5 and 8, 15, 22 and 1. A season low of 40.5%. Could have went way down, but we bounced back in week 6, 8 and 4, 23, 27 and 1. 46%. Week 7, 3 and 8, 26, 35 and 1. 42%. Then week 8, 8 and 3, 34, 38 and 1. And then last week, 7 and 4, 41, 42 and 1. And last week, we had the Panthers, bold pick, +7. Bengals covered -7. New England also covered +3.5. Bills -6 covered. Jags, Philly over. Arizona Bears under 45. We lost the Rams, Seattle over 47, but we did hit the Rams -1. We lost Green Bay +2. We lost Kansas City -8.5, but we did hit the KC Tampa Bay over 45. So 7-4 last week, 41 and 42 and 1 on the year, 49.3%. And week 10, we only got 6 picks this week. I could probably maybe pick, grab a couple more out, but I'm going to keep it down to 6. That's what we'll go with this week for week 10. And we'll come back on the other side. We'll recap this Thursday night game. You guys got any questions, comments, throw them in there. You want to talk fantasy, you want to talk NFL picks, you want to talk some NBA, whatever you want to talk. We'll get into it on the other side. Fantasy Savvy on X. You can follow me there, fffaceoff.com. This show is presented by the Faceoff Sports Network. Follow the show, like, subscribe, share. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's go. Welcome to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, presented by the Faceoff Sports Network, discussing high-stakes fantasy football, waiver, fab, free agent pickups, NFL picks, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, we're back. Fantasy Savvy on X. Trying to clear my throat a little bit here. All right, so incredible game tonight. Bengals, Ravens, and almost, a repeat of what we saw, a few weeks ago when the Ravens won 41-38 in Cincy. This game in Baltimore tonight, 35-34. Ravens moved to 7-3, 4-1 at home. Bengals now 4-6, 3-2 on the road. Burrow 34 of 56, 428 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, takes 3 sacks. Jamar Chase, 11 catches, 264 yards. Excuse me. He goes absolutely nuts. 3 touchdowns, 17 targets, 70-yard catch for a long. Chase Brown, 9 catches for 52 yards. Also has 13 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown. So nice day for him. Tanner Hudson outproduces Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki started a little hot, then got cold, disappeared. Eric All Jr. is playing over him. But then, last 2 weeks, Gesicki's been going off with T. Higgins out. Thought maybe we get another big game from him in a shootout game, which we saw, but just 4 for 30. Yoshivas does nothing again, 2 for 29. Supposedly the Bengals were banking on Jermaine Burton stepping up tonight. They took a couple deep shots tonight to him. 5 targets, just didn't work out. Just one catch for 11 yards. And, the Bengals come up short, just losing by a point here. They go for 2 at the end of the game. They try to go for the win. Lamar's going to get the ball back. They figure, maybe Tucker gets at the field goal range, you know. So, whatever. Or if it goes to overtime, the Ravens get the ball first. They scored 4 times in a row. Maybe the Ravens score again. They take the chance. I don't mind it. Could have been a flag. There's a couple holdings. Burrow also got hit in the face on the play. No call there. So a little bit fortunate for the Ravens. But Lamar, 25 of 33, 290 yards, 4 touchdowns, also no picks. Tylan Wallace, a guy that I always kind of liked. I had him on my dynasty team. We saw him have that huge kick return last year, punt return. And then, he had another similar play where he was dancing down the sideline, almost stepped out. 3 catches for 115 yards and a touchdown. So, he had a good game. Bateman went 6 for 54 and a touchdown. We also saw Aguilar catch a touchdown, just 1 catch. Zay Flowers, just 4 for 34. He kind of seemed to be the focus and, open up things for Tylan Wallace, Bateman, even Aguilar in the end zone. Andrews, nice game, 6 for 68 with likely out. Also scores a touchdown. Derrick Henry, just 1 catch, but 16 carries for 68 yards, does get into the end zone. Once again, terrible game for Justice Hill. I mean, this guy just never know when to start. He's either going to catch like 6 balls for, 70 yards or, do absolutely nothing. And that's what he did tonight. Just 2 catches for -2 yards and 2 carries for no yards. And Lamar now, I believe he's up to 24 touchdowns on the year. Is that what he's got after tonight? Just 2 interceptions. I mean, he won the MVP. He only threw 24 touchdowns last year. You got some other people in the mix, like Josh Allen's having an incredible. He's barely turned the ball over. Just 2 picks for him as well. Both really not his fault. But I mean, it's going to be hard not to give this MVP to Lamar Jackson with the way he's playing. To me, this is the best he's ever looked. I mean, he's just totally in an absolute zone right now. We've seen this from Lamar in the past where he's been in the zone and he kind of falls out of the zone and he plays sloppy. And then obviously in the playoffs, he has his struggles, but I mean, he's on for like career passing numbers this year, second year in this Todd Monken system. And then Burrow, he's finally staying healthy. He's got 20 touchdowns himself with just 4 picks. I believe this is up to date here. Or maybe he's got 24 too. No, I think he's got 20. Let's see. 9, 10, 12, 17, 19, 22. Yeah, he's got 24 also. Crazy. 24 touch. Burrow is going off his damn self. Finally staying healthy. And T. Higgins is still not even in the lineup. It doesn't matter. Burrow is just lighting people up right now. Lit up Vegas last week for 5 touchdowns. Baltimore for 4 touchdowns. Last time he played Baltimore, he also went off for 5 touchdowns. So he's got 10 touchdowns against Baltimore this year. 3 against Washington and then 5 against Vegas. So pretty incredible year for Burrow. He's absolutely dealing as well, but they're struggling. They're only 3. I mean, they're only 4. I mean, they're 4 and 6. They're 4 and 6. They could still, squeak into the playoffs here, obviously. But, tough 2 losses to Baltimore now. But great fantasy days for Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Henry, not bad. Good day for Chase Brown. Jamar Chase, the number 1 fantasy receiver, going absolutely bonkers tonight. Slow day for Zay Flowers. Nice day for Mark Andrews once again. And Rashad Bateman, he's been pretty good in fantasy as well. Deontay Johnson, last guy we got to talk about. Just 2 targets, 1 catch for 6 yards. Like, he kind of like slipped. He was open. He was like he was running a route. He changed direction. He slipped. He probably would have been a huge play, but he slipped. So just one catch for 6 yards for him. That hurts his day, but it wasn't going to be a big day for him anyway. And you wonder if he's ever really going to be a big factor in this offense. Is he just like a depth move? Is he going to move over Bateman at some point? That is possible. Not Zay Flowers. I mean, Zay Flowers, I think his role is absolutely entrenched here. I don't think he's going to hurt Zay Flowers. I initially kind of thought that, but then the way Zay Flowers has been playing this year, he's been such a huge part of them. So even Bateman, though, is playing pretty well. So it's going to be tough. I think, if anything, it hurts Bateman more than Flowers. So if you're a Flowers owner, don't worry about it too much. But anyway, 35-34, game goes way over the total of, I believe it was 50 something, 52 maybe. And the Bengals were 6.5-point dogs, and they cover that. So great game, good Thursday night game, slow first, half start. It was 14-7 Bengals. Ravens were struggling in the first half, but they come out and scored 28 points in the second half. All right, guys. NFL picks now. We only have 6 picks this week, and we're going back to the dog shit teams who, we said this was a dog shit team last week, but what happened? They got the win. They didn't just cover. They actually won the game outright. And that was Carolina covering against the Saints, beating the Saints and Derek Carr and getting Dennis Allen fired, which, Dennis Allen just hasn't been good. You could kind of sense he's been losing the team. The defense has been playing terrible. That's supposed to be his forte. The offense is out of whack, obviously, with all their injuries. Chris Olave just keeps getting rammed in the head. He left early in this game. Rashid Shaheed's been out for the year. So they're relying on guys like Bub Means. Bub Means didn't even play, actually. Mason Tipton and Quantum St. Brown. Cedric Wilson. Absolute mess for the Saints. So Carolina gets the outright win. Now they get the Giants this week at home, coming off the high, plus 6.5. Xavier Legette says he's been struggling with a wrist injury for a long time, but he's a full go. I don't know if they're going to get Adam Thielen back this week, but Jatavian Sanders is starting to play big. Chuba Hubbard just got paid. I think we're going to see Jonathan Brooks, and this is the German game. I forgot about that. This is the Germany game. But we're going to take Carolina. I just think it's too many points. Give me the 6.5 with Carolina in Germany.
Professional football in America is a special game, a unique.
And, this would be a good little 9:30 start. Open up Sunday morning, Giants, Panthers. But, for fantasy purposes, you'll have Malik Neighbors. You'll have Tyrone Tracy. You might want to use Danny Dimes in this game against the Panthers defense. Certainly a shitty defense, but played a little bit better last week. Maybe they kind of ride that momentum. They were dog shit for, basically the entire season, ton of injuries. But maybe they, go to Germany, things change up a little bit. But certainly not a bad play there. And then, on the Panther side, Chuba Hubbard and Xavier Legette. So some fantasy implications in this game. All right, one more pick, and then we'll take a look at the chat real quick. We'll just say what's up to everybody. And all right, so pick 2. We are going to go with the defending champs who just keep winning ugly every single week, but they keep getting the job done. And they're giving up 8 here to the Denver Broncos, who just played Baltimore and got their doors blown off. So weren't up to the task against a superior team. They beat Carolina 28-14. They beat the Saints 33-10. They beat the Raiders 34-18. They beat the shitty Jets, when the Jets were a hot mess. Jets playing a little better now, 10-9. Best win of the year for them was Tampa Bay when they shut down Tampa Bay's offense when it was healthy, 26-7. But Tampa Bay's defense stinks too, and Bo Nix had a nice day. So going against the Chiefs defense in Arrowhead, and I think Bo Nix is playing pretty good. And I think this is a game that he could kind of, they could kind of stay in with their defense too. It's not like the Chiefs offense is explosive. Um, so it isn't a bad matchup. I think where Bo Nix can get in trouble is like a game against Baltimore where he's got to catch up and you got to force Bo Nix to throw down the field a lot. That's not really where they're going to, execute. It's going to be slow, methodical drives. He's using his leg to extend drives, short passes, a little bit of the run game, relying on their defense. But Kansas City, Arrowhead, last year in this matchup, the Chiefs won 19-8 at home. So I think the Chiefs with their defense, close one last week against Tampa. And Mayfield did do a good job against the Chiefs defense, despite, missing all those weapons. So maybe Nick Sutton can do something decent. I just don't see it. I feel like the Chiefs defense will dominate. Hopkins now, Kelsey, obviously coming up. Hopkins get into the mix. Kareem Hunt still looking good. Worthy, maybe he could do a little something. Mahomes at home. I just feel like they cover this game. I think they win by like 10 points. I think they could cause Nick some problems, maybe sack him a few times, maybe get a turnover. But maybe the Broncos keep it close here. I mean, they did beat the Chiefs last year, but that was in Denver. So this is in Kansas City, and that was the last matchup too. So the Chiefs remember that loss. They're trying to go for the perfect season. They're 8-0. They've already won 3 Super Bowls. So now they want the perfect season in the Super Bowl. They're kind of like on that Patriots trajectory. So I think they cover. I'm going to be rooting for Denver in this game, actually, though, even though I'm taking Kansas City. I would love to see Kansas City lose sooner than later. I mean, their schedule, it's just not that hard. I mean, they play the Bills, but I mean, if they get past the Bills, they could potentially be undefeated. So maybe Denver pulls the upset, but let's go with Kansas City -8 in this matchup. All right, and we got Jamie saying, "What up, dude? What's up, Jamie?" Jamie also says, "Kind of salty earlier today." Anthony Hall for ignoring all my questions in the chat. Well, don't worry about that, man. I mean, there's a lot of people jumping in now. They got tons of questions, so they're just trying to get it through. But they definitely love you, man. They appreciate you. Definitely not blacklisted, brother. Definitely not the case. Marky 219 says, "Should I drop TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews for Sam Laporta?" No. I mean, you're not dropping Mark Andrews. TJ Hawkinson, maybe. But I mean, you got 2 really good tight ends there. I mean, I think you just stick with it. Hawkinson could definitely be better than Laporta the rest of the year. Jameson Williams is going to come back. Laporta really hasn't been that great. Andrews is going to be, he's really getting it going. So I don't think you make that move. I would just stay put, man. Captain Joking says, "Huge fan of the show. Already a sub. Quick question. Should I flex McLaurin or D-Hop? I'm afraid of the Steelers D, but also afraid of the Surtain treatment." Appreciate that, man. Welcome to the show. And should I flex McLaurin or D-Hop? And yeah, I mean, D-Hop could get that Surtain treatment, could slow him down, certainly. But I mean, McLaurin, after Daniels and McLaurin played the Bears, their secondary. And, I'm not really, I think Daniels and McLaurin are just matchup proof. And I like McLaurin. D-Hop could certainly beat Surtain, but I think it's a tougher matchup. And McLaurin, I think, could beat Joey Porter Jr. He could school him a little bit. So I think I'm going with McLaurin. 2 good options there. But McLaurin, I'm not afraid of him in any matchup. He's really showing, how skilled he is now with a legitimate quarterback. I mean, he had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons with absolute trash at quarterback. Now he's got Jaden Daniels, and we're seeing, how good he really can be. Career, he's probably going to have a career high in touchdowns after all those low touchdown totals in his career. Jamie says, "McLaurin and D-Hop are both in my wide receiver versus cornerback article. I'm currently dropping tomorrow. Both tough matchups, but I'm still rolling out McLaurin over D-Hop, so he agrees with me with as well. Dennis Allen, 7th straight loss, the longest streak for the franchise since 99. F that guy. He never deserved the job. 18-25 record with no playoff appearances. I agree. Like that whole staff with Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael just riding the coattails of Sean Payton all those years. They should have just started over, after Payton left. I mean, I understand, like, you keep the systems in place, but it just didn't work out. And, both those guys, it's good for the Saints that they're gone now. They were just not good. You could sense it for a while now. Bold prediction from Jamie: Broncos give the Chiefs their first loss. I mean, it's possible. Their defense is really going to have to step up. And like I said, Bo Nix gets in trouble where, like, if he's down, they got to play catch up. I don't think that's his strength. But if you're in a close game, he can use his feet to extend drives. He can make plays on the run. But this is going to be a tough test. This is definitely the best defense he's faced all year in the Chiefs. So it's going to be interesting to see how he looks. Remember, the Jets had him at minus negative yards in the first half when they played them. And the Jets ended up winning 10. I mean, the Broncos ended up winning 10-9 because the Jets defense couldn't do shit. I mean, the Jets offense couldn't do shit, rather. So I expect the Chiefs to do a little bit more now with D-Hop. I think they'll get the run game going. They'll slowly, methodically move down the field like they usually do. And Mahomes will put up points when he needs to put up points. And Buckner will kick the field goals that he needs to. Jamie also says he probably figured I'm smart enough to figure my own shit out and focusing a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that too, man. You got the super chats coming in. They focus on that. McLaurin remains a key target in Washington's passing attack. It'll be interesting to see if the Commanders can find ways to exploit other parts of the Steelers' defense. Great mismatches. Yeah, Noah Brown's coming up a little bit. He's coming up. I would like to see them use Luke McCaffrey a little bit more. I noticed they used Ben Sinnott a little bit more last week. Brian Robinson's been out. He's obviously an important piece of their offense. We'll see if he gets back this week. Eckler could step up certainly, but Brian Robinson, he's a nice piece of their offense. And then Jamie says, hit that like button. Yes, appreciate it, guys. Definitely do that. All right, back to the picks. So far, we got 2 on the week. We got 4 more left. And we're still in the 1 o'clock. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. We're staying with the Chiefs game. I forgot to throw this in there. We're going to go with the under in that game as well. 42. We like the Chiefs to hold Bo Nix low points, just like the Jets game when they held them to 10, the Broncos to 10. And we like Denver to kind of slow down KC's offense too. So I actually think this might be the better play rather than the Chiefs, the under 42. KC Denver under 42. So that's pick 3. Now pick 4. We go to the 4 o'clock slot. And I do like this pick a decent amount. And we'll find this on DraftKings. And we're going to go with the not San Diego Superchargers. Los Angeles Chargers -7 on DK against the Tennessee Titans. It looks like we're going to get Mason Rudolph again. Who cares if it's Will Levis finds his way back there? It's better off for this spread anyway. Willie Fubles, as I like to call him. We're going to go with the Chargers, man. I mean, Herbert's getting it going. 26 against the Saints. Their defense is trash, but 27 against Cleveland. Now, I know Quentin Johnson was wide open on one play. And I think who else was? I think Josh Palmer was wide open on another touchdown too. But I mean, Herbert's playing good now. He's throwing it more accurately again. He's healthy now. He's overcome that plantar fasciitis he had in the preseason and the high ankle sprain. And Ladd McConkey's coming along. You got Quentin Johnson back. You got Josh Palmer back. So he's got all his weapons around him now. Even DJ Chark is back. I don't know how much he played. I didn't see that yet. But, obviously I'm just throwing it in there. Will Dissly's getting most of the snaps at tight end now. J.K. Dobbins keeps it going on the ground. And their defense is legit. I mean, this Chargers defense is tough, man. They're balling out. I like the way they're playing. Again, let's go back to the Kansas City game when they only lost 17-10. They had Herbert on a high ankle sprain. They had no Bosa, no Derwin James, and they almost pulled that game out. So the Chargers 5-3. Brandon Staley was an absolute horror show as a coach. He was terrible. He's supposed to be the analytics guy, and everybody's all giddy about him because he's the analytics guy. He was a terrible coach. Couldn't get these guys to play for him. He had all these defensive weapons, and he couldn't do shit. They should have fired him. They bring in the best absolute hire they could have, I think, in Harbaugh, and he's turned his team around. They're 5-3. Their offense is starting to get it going. Herbert's starting to throw the ball more. Again, they have all their weapons back. So I like this -7 against the Titans, who 2-6. Rudolph or Levis both stink. You got Pollard, yeah. Ridley's playing a little bit better. Westbrook, Akine. I noticed Chiga Kwanko is starting to play more now, so that's somebody to watch out for in fantasy. I've always liked his talent. If he starts getting more usage, he's athletic as hell. He's got that profile, so might be a guy that I might try to target in a few leagues this week. I'm pretty deep at tight end. I'm pretty solid at tight end in all my leagues this year. I mean, I'm very blessed to have a lot of good tight ends. But let's go with the Chargers -7 here at home against Tennessee. All right. Couple more picks and we'll wrap this baby up. Actually, we're going to go right to Monday night and we'll wrap it up with that. I thought I was going to have a Sunday night pick. I was thinking about maybe taking Houston +3.5 against the Lions, but I don't know if Nico's going to come back. He didn't practice again. I was thinking about maybe taking Buffalo. I know it looks like Pittman's going to be out again, -4. I could just see Flacco backdooring that somehow, like a Josh Downs or Alec Pierce or Adonai Mitchell, just something. Jonathan Taylor. So I wasn't into that. I was thinking about maybe taking New England with Drake May. Maybe Montez Sweat doesn't play this week. But let's go to Monday Night Football and let's wrap this show up. Keep it nice and short this week.
Blitz is defined as a sudden, savage attack. It is indeed all.
We got the West Side Rumble going to the West Coast. And we got the game between the LA Rams and the Miami Dolphins. So the Dolphins going out to the West Coast for a night game. It's going to be, 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time, around the second half. And, the Dolphins are playing close games. 30-27 to Buffalo, 28-27 to Arizona. And they just can't get over the hump. They can't get it done. So I got to go with the Rams here, man. The West Coast game, the Rams are playing better football. They're getting the wins against Minnesota, against Seattle, 30-20, 26-20. So let's go Rams -1.5, and let's take the over 49.5. I think that's way too low. So let's go the over 49.5, and let's go Rams -1.5 for our two picks here on Monday Night Football. Stafford, Kupp, Nakua. We're seeing DeMarcus Robinson go off with these two guys back. Kyron keeps it going. McVay, huge coaching advantage over McDaniels, I think. Tyreek and Waddle could go nuts. They certainly could win this game. You got Achane. The Rams defense is not good. That's why I like the over the most. But I'm going to take the Rams. I just think that they get it done here. I think the Miami season is kind of lost. Would it shock me to see Miami get a win in a desperate situation here? Not at all. But let's go with the Rams -1.5. And actually, you get -1. Caesars, DK, Bet365, and over 49.5 on BetMGM. 4 picks, 5, and pick 6. So that is it, guys. Let's see if we got any comments real quick. Jamie says, oh, dude, check this out. A league I commissioned. The last place team traded their 2025th round 2, pick 1 from Mason Rudolph. Should I overturn if the 2 doesn't pay? Jesus, that's terrible for Mason Rudolph. Should I overturn if the 2? Yeah, I mean, that is crazy. I mean, I guess he's desperate at quarterback. He must be really desperate. But yeah, it's pretty shitty. I've never seen such a bad trade in my leagues. This struck me as collusion. I mean, if the two know each other, it's possible. If they're like cousins or they're good friends, that is possible. You kind of got to feel it out. I mean, collusion, I've definitely seen it happen before. Um, I've seen commissioners, make pickups and then try to do some crazy shit, then try to hide it before. So, anything's possible. Am I crazy? Jamie also says, am I crazy for starting Flacco and Khalib over Mahomes in a super flex? Also have Baker, but if he plays, I'm starting Caleb and Baker. I think Baker's going to play. I don't like Flacco against the Bills, really. I don't really like that matchup. I don't think he's going to do too much there. So I don't know. I don't know if I trust Caleb, man. I guess against New England, it's not terrible. He's got to bounce back this week. It was a bad look last week, absolutely off. But I mean, Denver's been leaking up points a little bit. So I would probably go Mahomes and Baker. I think that's what I would go with, man. I don't know if I trust Caleb. He's got to show it to me, even against New England. I mean, I know he's had some pop games against some other shitty defenses, but New England's a little bit better of a defense, than the Panthers and the Jags. I think they're better than both those defenses. So I would go Baker and Mahomes there, man. Mr. Wumbo says, is it an 8-team league where you start 4 quarterbacks or something regarding the Mason Rudolph for a 2025 round 2 overall, the first pick of the second round? Because sheesh, he says. Yeah, crazy stuff. So let's recap the picks, guys, and we'll get the hell out of here. Week 10 picks. Again, 41, 42, and 1 on the year. Last year, we were 87, 74, and 1 all the way through the Super Bowl, 54.5%. So we're getting there. Last 2 weeks, 8 and 3. In week 8, 7 and 4 in week 9. And in week 10, we have 6 picks, and they are Panthers plus 6.5 in Germany against the Giants. Maybe that goes up to 7. Chiefs minus 8 against the Broncos. Kansas City, Denver under 42. I'll say that's one of my best bets here. Chargers minus 7 against the Titans. That's another best bet. Rams, Dolphins over 49.5. BetMGM, another best bet. And then Rams minus 1.5 against the Dolphins on Monday night in LA. Miami playing the late night game. East Coast team going to the West Coast. The circadian rhythms are a little bit messed up. So that will be pick 6. There you have it, guys. Those are the picks. Appreciate everybody hopping in tonight. We'll be back next Thursday after the Thursday night game for more NFL picks. And we'll be doing this all the way through the Super Bowl. So we plan on, getting over that 52.5%. Hopefully getting over the 54.5% and surpassing last year's record, doing even better. So that's it, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. All the best.